We're going to go back to our top story now, and that's the man accused of ramming his truck through a gate at Rideau Hall last July pleaded guilty in court today. Corey Hurren entered his guilty pleas to 8 charges, including 7 weapons-related offenses. According to the agreed statement of facts, Hurren was carrying 5 weapons, including 3 which are banned or restricted in this country. A sentencing hearing is set for February 23rd. Now, we also learned that he had planned to show up to one of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's daily media briefings. So what do the details of the incident indicate about the level of security around the Prime Minister and the threats he might face? Pierre-Yves Bourduas is a former Deputy Commissioner of the RCMP, and he joins me now from Ottawa. PY, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, David.
I'd like to start with the charges and the end result of this. He was originally charged with, I think, 21 or 22 charges, Mr. Hurren was, but he only pled guilty to 8, 7 of which were weapons-related. What do we make of this reduction in the number of charges against him?
Well, obviously, there was a pretty solid case in relation to what has transpired, but police investigation normally, when they, at the outset, they gathered as much evidence as possible. They present the evidence to the prosecutor, and then there are negotiation along the way. And at times, it happens that some of these charges are set aside to secure a conviction or a guilty plea on the most serious charges. In this particular instance, as you've indicated, 7 out of 8 charges were weapons related.
Okay, and today, you know, the weapons obviously were an alarming part, right? But we also learned that he wanted to make a statement to the Prime Minister by showing up at one of his media briefings outside Rideau Cottage. I mean, the Prime Minister is there, he's got some security, but there's political staff, there's journalists there. I mean, what was the potential had he been successful?
Well, first and foremost, you have to bear in mind it was July 2nd. There was nobody on the ground per se, and the individual, the intruder, basically just showed up there and obviously was misinformed in relation to the environment per se. But the quick reaction by the RCMP at the time, they actually managed to secure the environment and actually engage in negotiation. So from the moment this individual tried to, go through the gate at Rideau Hall, and the moment he was apprehended without incident, 2-hour time lapse, and without major incidents. So ostensibly, it was a good police operation per se, but there were a lot of variables at play when this whole thing unraveled.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of luck that he had kind of the wrong day, potentially, if you think about it, right? Because if he gets into this event or somehow gets close to this event, I mean, the Prime Minister has security there. What's his detail supposed to do in something like that? I mean, my understanding is they take care of the VIP and kind of everyone else is exposed. I mean, there was real risk there for political staff and journalists had he shown up on a proper day.
I agree with you, but what you have to bear in mind also, David, is that there were over $2 million invested in security around the Rideau Hall premise, especially given that our current Prime Minister decided to relocate on one Sussex on the ground of Rideau Hall as opposed to going to 24 Sussex. So there was already beefed up security with regards to technology and detection. And of course, if the Prime Minister is in a public area, then there's more security details that are in close proximity to the Prime Minister just to ensure his safety and security, along with journalists or other people near the Prime Minister.
Some of the details that came out is that Corey Hurren lost his business. He was denied CERB. There was reporting in places like the Toronto Star that he maybe dabbled in some internet conspiracies, which is a common thread in a lot of security incidents we're seeing more and more. I mean, for example, the January 6th incidents at the Capitol in the United States. We've had a group called the Canadian Revolution camped out trying to make citizens arrests of politicians here in Ottawa last summer. I mean, what does all of this tell you about the security environment and the dynamic that politicians are facing right now?
It's concerning as Canadian, and from experience, David, I can tell you that whatever is happening south of the border normally migrates north of the border, and it takes normally about a year and a half. So, and you look at, for instance, the Proud Boys that that this week was put on the on terrorist list. So there are a different dynamic, and the RCMP and security details are adjusting to this dynamic. I know for a fact that the RCMP, for instance, has centralized security for VIPs and major events, just to ensure that they have the clear picture, just to ensure that events or our prime minister or elected official can go about their business without being disturbed.
Yeah, dangerous, difficult times. P.Y. Bourduas, thank you so much for your
Indeed.
expertise. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure, David.
Hi, I'm Vassy Kapelos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.